Welcome to another GT eForms demonstration. Today we'll be looking at the letter request eForm. This eForm was created entirely with configuration using Gideon Taylor Framework version 3.30. The purpose of this form is to allow students to request correspondence from the registrar's office. Students submit the form and then the form is routed to the registrar's office so they can track and generate the necessary correspondence to complete this request. Let's dive into the form. When the student first opens this form, the first thing they'll see is the student information segment. Using all existing records and configuration through GT's data pool, all of that information is populated in based on the current logged in user and is display only. Next, the student sees the request segment with the list of correspondence that they can request from the registrar's office. When we get to the registrar's office evaluating this form, you'll see that the jury duty letter can be generated directly from this form, whereas the degree verification and student status confirmation letter is generated through a back-end query process. After the student enters in the reason for their request, they choose the delivery options, whether or not they should be picking this letter up from the registrar's office, or if they would like it to be mailed to a third party. In the case of mailing to a third party, students are asked to fill in the address detail of where this letter should be sent, including fields such as company, address line 1 and 2, state, and zip. The final segment on this form is the file attachments, where students can upload any documentation regarding this request. After the student hits submit, the one and only workflow step on this form is triggered. In this case, the form goes directly to the registrar's office to begin their review. Using the evaluate task, the registrar's office finds the request and is able to review all of the details from the request. For this case, the student has received a jury duty summons, so we're going to send a jury duty letter. Because this student requested it to be mailed, we'll put in the date we plan to mail it. And after hitting the print button, we can select jury duty as our letter type. Here you can see all of the student's data has been pre-populated into a BI Publisher report, so that way the registrar can download, print, and send that letter on the student's behalf. Next, we'll look at the back-end query process. The registrar's office can load this page from the sidebar with the navigation collection and search by the query name. In this case, a series of prompts comes up to enter in the student information and then the recipient detail of where this letter should be sent. Upon hitting OK, another BI Publisher template is created in PDF format, filling in with the student's data. Again, this can then be downloaded, printed, and mailed off to the appropriate party. In these cases, after the PDF has been generated, the registrar's office would return back to the corresponding eForm, fill in the date that the letter was mailed or the date the student picked up the letter, and then approve that form to complete the process. The student would then be able to search in their history for any submitted forms if they also wanted to review their correspondence requests. Let me show you an example of what the report template looks like. This was created in Word using the BI Publisher extension that's available for download within PeopleSoft. In this Word document, I laid out the text and then marked in the fields that I wanted to pull directly from my form. Using your BI Publisher extension, you can upload a sample XML of your form to be able to use fields from your form within this report template. As you can see, the field name_formal is a field that I have coming directly from my form. This then populates into the form and makes it dynamic so that way it can be used for multiple students. In addition, these other gray boxes pull in the years that this student attended the university. Again, these are coming directly from the form, and I've applied specific formatting to be able to show it in month, day, year format. but you could also change that to any of the other available formats within Word. If this letter is not going to be mailed, then I will not include the return mailing address fields. In this case, I can click on the conditional region and it displays the properties. I am telling this that if the delivered mail field on my form is equal to yes, then show the fields in which my conditional region applies. On the Advanced tab, I have updated the text to display and then color-coded each of the conditional logics so it's easier for me to see where each one starts and stops. For this if mailing, it starts just before where the name would be located and ends after a postal code. The same is true for company and address too. If the student does not provide the company on the form, then this line will not show up and it will just hide. The address line will replace this line so the flow will not be interrupted. Again, I've also color-coded here so I know exactly where the company row hide will be so I can see where it will start and stop. Finally, I went ahead and uploaded this to PeopleSoft and created a report definition for this. That report definition can then be tied into GT eForms in the Reports tab from Form Setup if you want to use this directly on the form. This form has been 100% configuration based only and done by a functional analyst. No technical resources were needed to complete any of the work that you just saw.